when we physically challenge ourselves, when we take on something completely new and different, where we're getting sore and we're grunting and sweating and building new muscles and building new flexibility, it does something to our psyche as well, right? Just the physical experience of pushing yourself does something to your self-image. It improves your body chemistry, and it just creates momentum. Hi friends, welcome back. Now today we are talking about 7 habits to help you get unstuck in life. And I don't know about you, but I hate the feeling of just spinning my wheels, not making progress towards any concrete goals, and just feeling like you're stuck in a rut. And here we are towards the end of January, and for a lot of us, this feeling is starting to creep in. Like maybe things don't really feel different this year, and you haven't really started making this progress. So what do we do to get unstuck and to have that feeling of like excitement and motivation really come back in so that we can start making progress again? So today, there's many things that we can do, but today I think, the top 7 ways to really get unstuck. And these are things that I've used in my own life. I think I'm kind of almost addicted to the feeling of progress. And I'm very aware of, goals that I have for each year, for each quarter of each year. And there have been times when I've felt myself kind of stagnating. And so these are some of the things that have really helped. So the first habit to help you get unstuck is reading on a daily basis. So this doesn't sound cool or sexy, but hear me out. Reading every day for as little as 10 minutes. Reading a book that has something to do with your interests, or it has something to do with what you want to improve on, right? And so for me, I'm, really focused on building myself as a therapist and building my education out as I'm, working with clients and all of this. And so my reading these days is really focused on that, helping me to become more skilled, more knowledgeable, more effective in my new profession. There's been times in the past when I was focused on weight loss. And at those times, the books that I was reading was all about like, hey, I have this goal to lose some body fat. What can I do to move in that direction? And so really choosing books that are going to help you push through this place that you're stuck. And so I really recommend nonfiction for this like little daily reading. And like I said, you can do it as little as 10 minutes a day, but 10 minutes every day really stacks up. If you think about just 1 week, that's over an hour of reading. And so when you're really making the conscious effort to sit down and read for those 10 or 15 minutes, you get through books like in a few weeks, which is pretty neat. And for me, like just taking in new information that's, pushing you in the right direction can really help to get some of that momentum back, that excitement, or even just ideas, right? Like if you're feeling stuck in a particular area, but now you're reading this great book about it, you get all these ideas from the author and from their experience that can really help you make some better decisions or start implementing some strategies to help you kind of push through this little period of being stuck. So that's the first habit. Start reading as little as 10 minutes a day. Okay, the second habit to help you get unstuck this year is to start journaling. Now, this is, again, I'm thinking 5 to 10 minutes. It really can be as little as 5 minutes a day. And this is journaling with intention of really getting your thoughts down on paper or in your device to help you work through things. Now, this is something, in therapy we see a lot of sometimes we really need to get what's in our head, like what we're struggling with, what we're, maybe feeling ambivalent about, get it out, whether it's talking to another person. But there's a lot of power in just articulating your thoughts to yourself, either physically writing it out or typing it out, and doing this on a consistent basis. So doing this every day for just 5 to 10 minutes. And it helps you to kind of create this cohesive narrative. And it also helps you with noticing, like, what am I thinking right now about this situation in my life? And just putting down a few sentences about it today and then tomorrow. And then being able to, maybe once a week or twice a month, look back and kind of read through your thought process, and you'll have aha moments and you'll kind of put some dots together. And so there's a lot of power in this idea of just getting what's in your head, getting it down in a place where you can go back and revisit it and really learn from it. So this is another little trick that I use to help me, especially when I'm in a place where I'm kind of maybe trying to decide between two paths, or looking for, reasons to feel motivated in a certain area of my life. There's so many, like little gems that come up in our thoughts that we can get down, really capture them, and then come back and really learn from them. Okay, the third little habit that we can take on to help us get unstuck and really never get stuck. This one is super powerful. And this is future daydreaming. So thinking about your future and really imagining, letting your mind, your imagination grow wild on, what do I want for the future? Right? What is my next chapter? And this comes straight from Maxwell Maltz and Psycho-Cybernetics and his whole self-image psychology, which really essentially says we can achieve anything that we believe we can do, right? And this is pretty well known, this idea of, if you could think it and believe it, then you can do it. And so setting aside that 5 minutes a day, hopefully in the morning, where you're really just going wild with coming up with ideas for the future and really seeing yourself there, right? And that's why I like this word daydreaming, because like when we're daydreaming, we're kind of like imagining ourselves in a situation, imagining ourselves having a conversation with someone. And so doing this in a very intentional way on a regular basis to really prime our mind, our nervous system, our self-image for that next stage of growth. Right? This is keeping your eyes looking forward. This is allowing you to really kind of like take the lid off of what is currently possible or what is currently your reality. And you're stretching that. You're growing your capacity just in your daydreams first. And then as you do this enough and as this becomes comfortable, your self-image grows. Right? And this is such a powerful thing. And I think, most people who have thrown off their limitations and gone on to take on, these incredible accomplishments, it starts up in our minds first. And I think for me, one of my best examples of that was becoming a published author. Like it was something that was in my mind for so many years before I ever wrote my first book proposal to send off to a publisher. But even to get myself to a place where my self-image was really stretched enough to feel like, yes, I could write a book proposal, right? It took years of imagining holding books that I had written. Right? And so doing this future daydreaming is such a great way to push through whatever the mental, emotional block is today. It's probably based in your current self-image. And so stretching your self-image by doing this future daydreaming and just taking 5 to 10 minutes a day to do it. And then as you do it on a regular basis, it becomes this really powerful force within you to push you forward. Okay, fourth habit to take on to really push through feeling stuck is to take on a new and challenging exercise routine. I feel like I bring this up all the time, but I do it because it works. Right? When we physically challenge ourselves, when we take on something completely new and different, where we're getting sore and we're grunting and sweating and building new muscles and building new flexibility, it does something to our psyche as well. Right? Just the physical experience of pushing yourself does something to your self-image. It improves your body chemistry, and it just creates momentum. When you can start to feel better in your physical body, when you can feel stronger, you can feel more fit, healthier in your own body. It creates this intangible momentum that spills over to all of the other areas of your life. And so for myself, I think the best example of this was back in 2021. I did a big fitness challenge, and it was a 12-week challenge, and I took it so serious, and it was like before pictures and after pictures and all of this. And I lost about 30 pounds of fat in 12 weeks and just completely dedicated myself to it and was, exercising super hard and building muscle and really like eating by this meal plan. And at the end of the 12 weeks, I had such a feeling of accomplishment and momentum and just felt so good in my own body that I applied for graduate school. And it was like, what does graduate school have to do with getting fit? But for me, it was really linked because getting myself to this place where I felt so good and I felt so accomplished really stretched my self-image, and I had this momentum going. And it's like, well, where am I going to put this momentum towards? And it's like, well, I've always wanted to go back to school. Maybe I'll just apply. Right? And I did it almost on a whim, like on a Saturday morning, just like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And then just did it. Right? And then my life took a turn. And so finding a way to physically challenge yourself. And this is especially powerful if right now, maybe you're feeling stuck in other areas of your life, but you're also really feeling stagnant just physically. Right? And, the beginning of the year is a time when oftentimes we do feel kind of stagnant in our body. And maybe we haven't been, focusing on our fitness, and maybe the weather has been preventing you from, going outside or being more active. But putting yourself out of your comfort zone. Last year, I started doing Pilates this time of year. And then in February, I started with a personal trainer. And so doing these things where we're doing something different and new, we have accountability. So there's somebody that is going to, get on you if you don't show up and do your workout, right? If you start to flake, if you start to backslide with taking on this new challenge, someone's going to call you out. So whatever physical challenge you take on, there needs to be accountability so that you'll keep showing up even when you're sore, even when you're tired, to really push yourself physically to a new level of strength and a new level of health. And this is, like I said, it might not seem like your physical body is so tied to your mental and emotional capacities, but it is. It's very, very closely that, mind-body link is so intrinsic to who we are. And so sometimes just starting physically is actually easier than trying to go in and change our mindset and change our emotions, right? Just like, hey, I'm going to show up to this exercise class every other day, and I'm just going to do it until you start to feel different in your body. Okay, the fifth habit that will help you to get unstuck is to stop drinking alcohol and actually all substance use. So if you're feeling stagnant in your career, in your relationship, maybe you want a relationship but you don't have one, whatever it might be, intentionally stopping your use of alcohol, marijuana, nicotine, whatever it is that you're currently using on a regular basis. Maybe you're in some level of denial about whatever level of addiction that you're at. Stopping that behavior is so incredibly powerful for getting things unstuck and for getting positive momentum going in your life. The best example of why this works is actually found in the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, where he talks about smoking. And he talks about how this one habit of smoking and being addicted to nicotine can completely pull someone's life off track. So I highly recommend listening to that. And then if you are at a place where you're like, you know what the heck? Why don't I just try to stop drinking or stop smoking and see what momentum comes to me? See how my life shifts. See how my self-image stretches, right? There's such confidence that comes when you take control of a piece of your life that's unhealthy, that you know you could do better, right? You know that you could put that down and start to make room for things that are more positive. And so another place to start, if you're like, yes, I think this might help me, but I don't know how to do it. Alan Carr has several books. Whatever it is that you're currently addicted to, he has a book about how to stop. And he has a very interesting technique that is very effective. I would recommend listening to his stuff and even just becoming aware of like, hey, this is something that maybe this year I want to start working on. Maybe it starts with just drinking less, right? And if you drink every weekend, maybe drinking every other weekend, right? If you drink 3 drinks when you go out, having 1 drink, right? And just starting to move yourself in this direction of not really being addicted or dependent on a substance, and opening up that space in your life that it's currently occupying. And this is the really cool thing about intentionally and voluntarily stopping your use of substance, is that you open yourself up to see what you're missing. Because there's absolutely no way to know what it's like to be completely sober unless you try it, right? And even if you don't quote unquote have a problem, things seem to be going fine in your life, but you haven't ever tried 30 or 60 days without whatever mind-altering substance you use, taking a 30 or 60-day break from it with the mindset of curiosity, like, how would my life change? Would my life be better? And just have that question, right? Because like, I can't tell you exactly how your life would improve or even if it would improve, right? And this is the mindset that I took to a little over 2 years ago when I said, I'm just going to take 30 days and I'm not going to drink wine and I'm not going to socially drink and I'm just going to see what life is like, right? And after 30 days, I was like, whoa, like so many things have shifted and I'm just feeling so good. I'm going to try 60 days. And then after 60 days, more things opened up. And so it was like, whoa, why would I give up feeling so good? Why would I give up this new space that entered my life? There's going to be a void when you stop doing this substance that takes time. It takes your mental energy. It alters your neurotransmitters. It's taking up space in your life. And so if you put it down, you put it to the side long enough to see what comes in to fill that space, you'll be pleasantly surprised I was. And so for you, you would have to try it, right? Try it and see what kind of space comes in, and then what else comes in, right? What shifts? And so this for me personally, and I know for many others, deciding to not use any substance has really been a key in getting unstuck and then not finding yourself stuck again, because it just allows you to keep the momentum going. Okay, the sixth habit that you can try to get yourself unstuck is to start doing some intermittent fasting. Now, this one's a little departure from a lot of these other ideas that we've talked about today, because this one's just directly related to, your diet and eating and the timing of your eating. And it's really all about body chemistry. And so, most of us today, I think it's like 85% of adults in the United States have some level of insulin resistance, which means that, just on a hormonal level, insulin is not as effective in our body. And so we're having to produce more of it, which is like step one towards developing type 2 diabetes and really a host of many other diseases. And so when we can give our body like 24 to 36 hours with no food, we're just drinking water, or, 0 calories are coming in, we're taking that break. It does so much to clean up our body chemistry, to improve our insulin sensitivity, to reduce inflammation, to increase energy, just so many things on a chemical level just shift in a positive, more healthy direction, simply based on intentionally taking breaks from food. And so, similar to the exercise, taking on an exercise challenge, you might be like, well, I'm kind of stuck in my career. Like, why am I going to start fasting to try to get unstuck over here? Or I'm not really feeling motivation towards going after this, this idea that I have. Like, how is fasting going to help me? And this is another one that you kind of have to do it to understand the momentum that it creates. Like when your body chemistry is starting to shift into this healthier state, and there's this feeling of energy that comes over you, and it's not just energy. It's energy and like this level of confidence and this different relationship with food that comes in when you regularly, intentionally fast for your health. And the best way I can describe it is like this natural, organic energy comes about, and that energy can be directed wherever you're feeling stuck in your life, and it naturally will go there. And so this is another one that you kind of have to try it to understand it. But if you're currently feeling stagnant in your life and you haven't tried fasting, or maybe you haven't done fasting recently, maybe it's something you've done in the past, but you're like, man, maybe if I just, 1 or 2 days a week, take a break from food and see how things shift and see what comes in to fill that space. Okay, the seventh habit, and probably my favorite, to help you get unstuck in life is to go to therapy. And yes, I am biased because I am a therapist, but this is something that, when we really are at a place in our life where we are truly feeling stuck, and we are feeling, maybe stuck with some unpleasant emotions, maybe just feeling like we're not motivated to do anything different, even though we have these thoughts and these ideas that life could be different. Finding a therapist that you connect with, who you can, learn to trust and learn to put yourself in the vulnerable, open position of coming in every week to work on what's not working in your life, right? And one of my big goals in life is to really destigmatize therapy and to really see it for what it is, which is a tool to help you find more happiness and fulfillment in your life, which is pretty awesome when you think about it. Like, there are people like myself who spend all day helping, like as that helper to come along beside you to help guide you and work with you towards pushing through these barriers and these blocks and working through past traumas and opening yourself to more happiness and more fulfillment in life. And so there it is, folks. These are 7 habits to help you get unstuck wherever you are in life right now. I hope that 1 or 2 of these has resonated with you, and maybe you can take it, implement it in your life, and find yourself just getting some new energy and some new momentum to continue on your self-development journey. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next week with another message.